manning large unmanned level crossing. With this, I welcome him on the dais. Thank you. Everybody, please have a courtesy to be silent in this room. And please have a... I would again request, let's keep some... Oh, thank you. I also invite Engineer R.R. Tanwar Saab, who is ex-GM, THDCC, and a council member, IEI. Mr. Tanwar is a BTech in Electrical, MBA, FIE, PGDM, and many more. If I start reading all those, then probably it will take many minutes. So his extensive experience in hydropower sector in India has worked in CWPC, CA, NHPC, GAIL, Coal India. He has been also worked as a general manager, electrical admin, and disciplinary authority. He has more than 45 years of experience, working experience. Okay. Corporate, he is also a corporate member for more than 40 years and a fellow member of the last 25 years in the council and board of governance, SQF. He's a member of multiple advisory committees. Welcome you, sir. Can I request Mr. Ravi Parmeshwar, who's a consultant in a people aspect and safety. Mr. Ravi is postgraduate diploma in management and IR from XLRI, Master of Business Laws from NLSUI Bangalore, and has pursued his PhD in safety and leadership. Experience of around 30 years in a various aspects of human resources and management. Last role was a CHRO, Renew Power. He is known for building a culture and the people practices for well-being. He has influenced safety culture building in his experience, worked across a lot of MNCs. Can I request you to close the back rear gate, please? Those who want to come inside, they are most welcome. Those who want to stay outside, thank you. Sorry for being so direct on this. Sometimes you have to be a direct, and I come from a direct DI profile. Mr. Ravi would have understood my, there are 4 quadrants of profile that is called DFI. So I belong from a direct and influential. So with this area of expertise, leadership coaching, organization, culture, change management, competency, and thing. Welcome you, Mr. Ravi. And last, myself, Saurabh Srivastava. Don't look into the picture. That picture belongs to when I had a few months back. So I come from an electrical background. I have extensive experience in this health and safety management. I'm also an alumni, IIM alumni, and I've been 22 years in this health and safety domain, and presently working at Reckitt as a head of health and safety compliance for South Asia, ASEAN cluster, and China, as well as I'm the business partner for the complete health vertical of Reckitt. Reckitt is a second biggest, largest multinational FMCG company. We are the manufacturers of, you can say, Dettol, Harpic, Disprin, and many more such power brands. So with this, I start this session for on this plenary session. We had okay.
Now I request Goel Saab, kindly welcome our chairman, Shri Jain Saab, with a bouquet. Malhotra Saab, kindly welcome our council member, Tamar Saab. Goel Saab. A.K. Malhotra Saab. आइए सर. आप करो आप. ले लिए. आइए.
So you're going to hand over, or shall I do it? So once again, welcome you all, dignitaries. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all and talk on this plenary session. Being this first session, it again goes to my responsibility that I should tell you this back to basic concept. And though since the morning, a lot have been discussed on back to basic, but I feel connected when we were finalizing this theme for the year. And this comes from a very, very, I'll say, deep discussion why we wanted to keep this back to basics. Because while we are moving ahead, we are becoming fifth largest economy on the earth and trying to become the third biggest economy in next 3 years of time. There are leap and bounds of the progress in the development, but when we see our track records on the health and safety incidents, what we find is that the number of incidents are going up, despite all the developments, despite all the artificial intelligence or IoTs or whatever you call it. So a lot of developments are happening, but still we find the incidents are going up. Why? Either we are missing something, we are not able to. And honestly, I don't able to digest this, that when we have improved so much on the technology front, when the knowledge has gone up, we have come across with the industrialization era, we are moving into a different 4.0, industry 4.0, then why these incidents are still happening? Being in around 20, 22 years in this industry, what I have personally understood is that it is when you go into the root cause analysis of any accidents, then you come to know that there was something basic was missing. I have not come across any incident, and I don't want to come to that also, where there was a gross negligence which was due to technology or which people have not done it. Today morning, when we saw many, when D.V. Vinayal colleague was showing us the presentation keynote, he has shown us and he has presented a couple of the accidents which happened due to gross negligence or behavior issues and all those. So that is the reason why we want to go into the back to basics, because basics for me, and when I was coming today morning in the cab, then I wrote a simple acronym on the basics. Basics for me is something called bonding. Bonding is not from the personal bonding. Bonding means bond to your process, to your practices. So keep your bonding on when you are saying back to basic, what you want to do. So basics means for B for is a bonding. So go for your bonding to your original, your processes. A is the agility. We don't, I don't know how many of people have actually known this word agility, but the agility is something with the process is we have to change every day. When the processes are changing, when the ways are changing, when the word is changing so much, we have to be agile. Even your EHS practices has to be agile. Then comes the S, that is a society, basics, the third word of it, is a society. When we are in an ecosystem, often in a society or an industry, where many industries are going and taking a new shape, while we are working on a large organization, we have to also see towards the smaller organization or the new organization which are coming up, or even those organizations who are in different level of their maturity on health and safety. I is inclusion. What we do is, when I become a successful, I saw around 29 or 30 organization received a safety award today. What is an award winner? My responsibility is, what I have to give it back to the society. If I come from an X organization, if I have won the one award on a health and safety, we have got multiple subcontractors or industries associated with us. Why don't we inculcate that same safety practices in our other known organizations? So that is the inclusion which we should bring. C stands for compensation, compensation. When we believe we all are in a development, I'll give a simple example. We all are under storm, the storm of development, but our boats are different. Why I say this? We are in the same sea, same rough sea, but we have our own boats. We have to sail this boat together. And last is strategy. When I say the word basics, so that is a strategy. When I say strategy, when you are making your long-term strategies, when you are making your health and safety plans, when you are making your plan for the projects, how we are prioritizing health and safety. So with this brief 5 minutes of my understanding on this thing, on the back to basics, I would start this session. And thanks for the organization giving me opportunity to speak here and being a moderator. And I will start with a couple of the topics, and I will try to be within my time frame of around 60 minutes I have. So in that, I'll take my seat, and then we'll have a short question answer session, and we'll like to understand something on this topic. So I believe the bottom one is the. So I'm audible? Yeah, thanks. So we all have a leaders here. In this room, we have got a distinguished leaders who have been around more than 40 years of the experiences. And when we say the health and safety is something called a leader's, I'll say, objective and leader's activity. So having you all here on this dais, on this, I would like to know from your experiences as a leadership, like how the engagement of leader impacts on the development of back to basic as a concept. And having you all here, this is a one common question, and I would like Mr. Jan, if you can start first and give your thoughts on leadership engagement for developing because it's a leader-driven subject. Sir.
Thank you. Firstly, it's a matter of pleasure to be here with this August gathering, and especially thankful to Institution of Engineers that they are bringing up this topic of safety and quality. This is very, very important, especially for the infrastructure sector. Actually, before we go to the what leader's role is there for the safety, just though Mr. Ravi Parmeshwaran is more competent to tell, I was going through the statistics that approximately, as per the ILO, approximately 34 million cases of accidents are reported for the various work sites, factory sites, etc. 34 million in a year, number one. And the losses, approximately $3 trillion. So you may know how much serious this topic is. And today, Institution of Engineers has brought it very correctly and properly that we have to look into this aspect. In dedicated freight corridor, we are working for a project of 1.25 lakh crore and working all along the length and breadth of the country from Mumbai to Delhi and Delhi to Kolkata and also towards Ludhiana. What we have seen, though we keep on giving excessive preaching, I would like to tell the word only this, training, continuous monitoring, and still the accidents or unsafe practices or poor quality takes place. Why is it so? It is true what you have already pointed out, lack of bonding. This is the first phase. But actually we have to go into the genesis also. So, but as a leader, first question I would cover that one, that we have to inculcate, though everybody knows the safety is very important. We know a slight mistake while driving may lead to a fatal situation. But we always ignore this particular issue whenever we do the work. Just few days back, we lost one of our staff on track because he was talking on mobile and was hit by a train. And this is not any isolated incidents. Every year on railway track, we lose more than 300 to 500. The statistic 300 to 500 daily. One gangman is run over or hit by the train. Why still we are not able to stop it? What is the role of leader then? Leader is there to let everybody know, yes, unsafe practices are going to create big damage to the organization, losses, and also the life of that particular person. But still, I don't know, we ignore it. So anyway, as a leader, we have to keep on giving training and training. Thank you.
With this, it's really means, thanks for sharing this honest figure of 300 to 500 gangmen losing their life. I'll certainly touch base this in the later part of the discussion, what as we can do for that. But Ravi, you have been into the industry from so many years, and when again I go back to the same, what is the significance of back to basic?
Yeah, you know, when we take a topic like back to basic, it indicates that we are probably not doing the basic work that we're supposed to do, right? So in a sense, we are currently operating in a very hypocritical manner. We preach something like he says, but we don't implement it. One of the fundamental, and I'm not so familiar with the public sector, but in the private sector, it's clearly a class problem, right? The people who die in private sector are all the contract workers who work in the factories. You never find a CEO dying. Nowadays, you don't even find the employee of the organization dying. You will 99% find the contract worker dying. I'm glad he mentioned, honestly, the deaths in railways. The fact is that in the private sector, if you try and find out data about deaths, there is massive underreporting that happens, right? So I think it's a class problem. None of the senior people are dying, so nobody is really interested, right? And while the preaching happens, the true test is if you're willing to spend money, if you're willing to spend on organization design, if you're willing to spend on training. I'll just give you an example. You know, everybody's talking about green hydrogen nowadays, right? All the private sector companies, you can see them talking about green hydrogen. Many of these companies have been working in the renewable energy space. They haven't got control of deaths in construction in the renewable energy space, but every one of them is attempting to go into a far more complex technology like green hydrogen. But if you actually go deeper and try to understand whether the org design is fundamentally changing, whether the way the management is reviewing statistics around safety or the training or the culture, etc., it will give you a little bit of a worry when you start looking at these organizations, right? So I think fundamentally it's about leader being true to what is happening on the ground, right? All of us know that as we go higher and higher, we think we know or we are in touch with what is happening on the ground. But most often as we go higher and higher, we actually lose touch with ground reality. So I think the most fundamental role of the leader in terms of back to basics and safety is to be creating an environment where honest truth is coming out in the boardroom. I don't get the feeling, whatever little work that I have done, that real honest conversations are happening at the leadership level.
Thanks, Ravi. Well, point taken, and this has to go to the board level, then only this can actually get a momentum and pace. Now coming to the, Mr. Tanva, you have been around around 40 years in this industry, and you have been working in a hydropower for many, many years. So what is your take? Because hydro industry is more like in a construction and again a complex power generation and all those. So what's your personal take on this?
Thank you, Mr. Saurav, and thank you all. I will take 2 minutes just for a preamble about me. Sir, I belong to Central Water Power Commission, And I joined directly in 1975 Loktak Hydroelectric Power Project in Manipur. And that from planning to commissioning, we did that project. After that, I joined on deputation Nalco project, smelter in Odisha. After that, through NHPC, I joined, and then through NHPC, I did Tanakpur Loktak Acid project. And in THDC, I did Terry Hydropower, 2,400 megawatt complex. But as Mr. Saur asked me my own experience, I am electrical engineer, and I was involved in electrical, mechanical, and civil in these hydropower plants. And maximum, my experience regarding leadership and construction and safety hazard and safety aspects are different, sir. I have seen in my life, around 15 years I stayed in Loktak project Manipur. And I have seen 100 deaths at Loktak project, 100 deaths. Initially when I joined in November 1975, and we have seen 15 deaths after 1 or 2 months back. Everybody afraid. What happened? There was a tunnel in Loktak hydroelectric power, but 9-kilometer long tunnel to be constructed. And that water conduit system was total 35 kilometer from Loktak Lake through power channel, then 9-kilometer long tunnel, then penstock, like that, sir. And we were directly deputed in the tunnel. And that time tunnel channel only excavated 650 meter only. And sir, there was a methane gas in the tunnel. Now I am coming to the leadership quality, how leaders are doing on the projects and why they are ignoring the safety. When there was a gas in the tunnel, nobody knows there was a ordinary electricity, ordinary this locover moving, ordinary flame proof, ordinary this switch gear, everything was ordinary. And first accident happened, then immediately what happened, a bulb, ordinary bulb, a stone fell on the bulb break, and methane, because methane is very lighter than air, it always on the cavity top. And this explosion occurred. People were standing on they were excavating the tunnel through blasting and all these things they were doing that time. And when they were standing, one chief engineer, Mr. Patel of Patel Engineering Company, was also standing there on the site. All 15 people burnt badly. And we cannot see the faces even after these people. So I am telling you, these are the 15 deaths first we have seen, sir, of Loktak project, first in Loktak project in 75 January. Then the project closed, and this inquiry set up and by Government of India, Ministry of Power, and from Dhanbad Central Mining Research Station, Director General Mine Safety did the inquiry. Mr. S.S. Prasad was Director General Mine Safety. They came, they stationed at Loktak project. They know how this happened, why it happened. Then they came to know there is a methane gas. There is a methane gas and a big quantity methane is there. But actually, if methane is more than 1.5, then it is very dangerous. If below 1.5 or that is a working, you can work. No. Then immediately project stopped, inquiry was going on, so many people were suspended, these things. But my question is that when project started, nobody have seen whether this strata of civil hill area is a methane or not. This is a Kacha rock. This Geological Survey of India have also checked all the aspects of the area. Before preparing the DPR of any project, we have to see so many aspects. You have to see the rock area, behavior of rock area, transport and all these things, all facilities have to be seen. So nobody have seen. So my question is that it means there is a very, very big lack of leadership in that areas. Inefficient knowledge of the management, top management. Inefficient, I will say this is inefficient management. You are going to execute the project where 700 people are working on the project. There are long tunnel, 9-kilometer long tunnel you have to excavate. There are gates have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5, phase 6, phase 7. You have opened the hole to excavate the tunnel. It stopped, totally stopped, and the gentleman who was head of our project was suspended by the Director General Mine Safety. Inquiry was set up, and all these things were going on, sir. This is one aspect. And after that, the project was reviewed, and then we people have sent to Dhanbad for 45 days training. Some 5 civil engineer, electrical engineer, mechanical engineer were deported to Dhanbad Central Mining Research Station. And we got training. After training, we improve everything. The flame-proof electrical equipment were erected, used, blower, ventilation system, how to blast the tunnel. You cannot blast the tunnel. Then TBM machine, first in India came, which is running here in our metro now. The TBM in 1975 came at Loktak project in Manipur only in the end of 75. Tunnel boring machine. We have worked on that TBM machine also there in the Loktak project. So that was the first machine in India, the TBM machine. We used over there. This is all electrical operated machine. So this is one thing of the Loktak project I am telling you. That is the totally failure of the top leadership in that project. Number 2, sir. Where we got the training, 45 days training in Dhanbad, where Chasnala coal mine, Jharia coal mine, we got the training, sir, 45 day training. And even 15 days before the Chasnala accident, our training group came out. 15 days before our training group came out and reached to Loktak project back. And after 15 days, there was a very big accident. 872 people deep in the water. You might be knowing, so many engineers might be knowing what happened in Chasnala accident. 872 people died at the spot. And 15 days, how it is happened, sir? Because there are the theft. There was theft for transportation theft. Human being lift theft was there. And it is purely ignored by the top management also there. There is a pocket when we are going for removing the coal from the bottom. That time Chasnala, we went 1,500 meters down from the ground level, sir. And at 500 meters, there was a very big block of water is there. Big lake was there inside that area. And there was a crack in the wall, in the shaft, and people have ignored. And when the crack has developed, leaders also know this is a small crack, nothing will happen. Nobody knows the water is there behind that. Nobody knows the water is there behind that. And that wall collapsed. People sitting in the lift, working, and the 1,500 meters down, all are died, lift went to down, and the lift come to up. Some people climbing the lift came out, and maximum people, 600, 700 people were working in that working place in this Chasnala. They died, and after, you might be knowing that we don't have pump that time also. Pump, how to remove the water from the tunnel, how to get the dead body from this Chasnala mine. We don't have a pump, sir, that time. In 1975, Poland, we brought some emergency pump from Poland of 1,450 HP pumps came, and pumping start after 10 days back, and their bodies are coming with piece of mass only. It means that is a total failure of the management or the total leadership. This second accident I have seen, sir. And third accident again I have seen. First I have already told to you. Second also already told to you. One, there was a very big cable blast I have seen. Cable blast. Ichhapur gun factory is there. Might be people knowing in West Bengal, Calcutta, near to Ichhapur gun factory. There was a 220 kV. The 220 kV line is there. And that cable, a jointing of the cable, there was a leakage, and everybody knowing there is a sparking going on, sparking every day. But nobody seen this spark will come in a big way. And that spark happened, and transformer, oil field transformer of 60 kV was just near to the cable. Transformer blast, 7, 8 worker has been died immediately because of that blast and because of the cable blast. So this is a open, you are seeing, you have seen this can be happen any time, but we are ignoring, we are ignoring, or management is ignoring, or leadership is ignoring this point. So these are the points we should see whether over this, I mean to see the leader should have a vision also, and he should see all the aspect also. He should not sit in the office. He should see all. He should meet the employees. He should discuss with the employees. He should talk with the worker also. He should the location of the site where work is going on. So these are my points. And every day you might have seen, everybody knows that. Some in villages, there are some well digging is going on. कुएं की खुदाई होती है और हमें पता लगता है अगले दिन एक बच्चा कुएं में गिर गया. वो कैसे गिर गया सर? हाउ? ड्यूरिंग एक्सकेवेशन ऑफ वेल कोई बच्चा कुएं में गिर जाता है. इट मीन यू डोंट हैव एनी प्रोटेक्शन, यू डोंट हैव एनी सेफ्टी ऑफ दैट वेल आल्सो. You can't, why you are not raising the wall around the well? Why you are not raising the wall around the well? And this, another accident I have seen in Loktak project. What happened, sir? There was a gate shaft. Actually, whenever you are starting any project, there are so many type of hydropower plant. There is the run of the river is also there. One type of run of the river, one on project on the lake also, one dam also like Terry Dam also. That our project was on that lake, Loktak Lake. Lok mane bada, Tak mane jheel. This is a Manipuri word actually, Loktak Lake. And the lake is 40 square kilometer areas for touching Burma and all this area. And first lake water conduit system was a open channel. Then open channel will come through the gate shaft. That is called the gate shaft, sir. And from gate shaft we will go to phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 like that. Phases were open, and that shaft was sapped from the hill. We have from the this ground level. We make a shaft, working shaft, sir, working shaft, where loader can go. We dump the loader niche, and all other material also can we cement and everything, gitti vitti jo bhi hai. But when the shaft was there, no wall was created. There was a heavy rain. And that all water of that area, hill area, came, and the shaft was flooded badly. And so all machineries, loader and everything, transformer and everything, come into the water over there, and blast and everything, so many things. So again, an inquiry was set up, how it has happened. It is also lack of management, lack of top management. Why, when you are digging, when the shaft is there, and it's below the ground level, and anybody can slip and can go. And Manipuri area is like that. There is every day, rain season is there every day.
Thanks, तनवर साहब, मैं इसी चीज़ में आपको यहाँ पे एक सॉरी बहुत अच्छे आपने इंसिडेंट्स बताए, एंड दैट रियली दोज हु आर लिसनिंग, मुझे लगा कि ये पीपीटी सेशन ना हो के ये एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करना वाज वन ऑफ द थिंग. बट इफ़ यू हैव सीन ऑल दी 3 इंसिडेंट विच मिस्टर तनवर हैज़ टोल्ड यू, उसमें ज़्यादा जो चीज़ आया वो इग्नोरेंस एंड द लीडरशिप इश्यूज आया. And probably all the incident when I was talking in my section, I told you like the leadership is something which is fundamentally one of the strongest, I'll say, the foundation for the health and safety. With these 3 things, I'll come to, sir, to you, because when you are managing the DFCCI and such a large construction work, 2200 kilometers, which I learned in your, aap log, sir, how do you are managing this?
Actually, what Mr. Tawar has covered, yes, top leaders have got a role, but from the very beginning, from the engineering college days, we have learnt that safety has got 3 aspects. First, engineering, that is technique, technology. हम कोई भी चीज़ ऐसा करें कि टेक्निकली, जैसे बताया कि आपने बोरवेल बनाया तो उसको आप टेक्निकली उसको कवर करके रखिए, ये करके रखिए. तो फर्स्ट इज इंजीनियरिंग, सेकंड इज एजुकेशन, लोगों को ट्रेनिंग दीजिए, और थर्ड है एनफोर्समेंट. दिस ट्रिपल ई कंसेप्ट फ्रॉम द वेरी बिगनिंग is very very important anywhere for any type of the project. हम चाहे उसको बोलते हैं सावधानी हटी दुर्घटना घटी, पर हम लोग इसको फॉलो नहीं करते हैं. हम लोग, वी ऑल नो कि टू व्हीलर पे राइड करते हुए यू हैव टू वियर हेलमेट. कौन पहनता है? केवल तब जब पुलिस वाला देख रहा हो. या हम सीट बेल्ट क्यों बांधते हैं? जब बजर बज रहा होता है. इसलिए नहीं कि हमें अपनी सेफ्टी करनी है. तो तंवर साहब, थोड़ा सा मैं आपसे इसलिए डेफर करूंगा कि टॉप मैनेजमेंट हैज़ गॉट देयर ओन रोल दैट इज मोस्टली रिलेटेड टू द फर्स्ट ई एंड टू सम एक्सटेंट ट्रेनिंग आल्सो. बट एनफोर्समेंट के लिए हर टाइम हर जगह पे कोई ना कोई रहे, ऐसा होता नहीं है इसके अंदर. और जब तक इंडिविजुअल अपने आप को सेफ्टी के लिए कॉन्शियस नहीं करेगा तो सेफ्टी हो नहीं सकती. हमारे डीएफसी प्रोजेक्ट में हम लोग 3000 किलोमीटर पे काम कर रहे हैं. बट व्हाट वी हैव सीन कि मोस्ट ऑफ द एक्सीडेंट्स डिस्पाइट ऑफ आवर मॉर्निंग ओथ, हम सुबह टूल बॉक्स पे ओथ लेके शुरू करते हैं कि मैं कोई अनसेफ नहीं करूँगा. उनको सारा पीपी किट देते हैं, हर चीज़ देते हैं. बट स्टिल आप बिलीव नहीं करेंगे, मोर देन 50 to 60% आर ड्यू टू द रोड एक्सीडेंट्स, गोइंग टू द साइट, कमिंग टू द साइट, नॉट हैविंग प्रॉपर केयर फॉर हिमसेल्फ बेसिकली. और इन्हीं में सबसे बड़ा रीज़न आजकल जो आ गया है, जो हम लोग वास्तव में मानते नहीं है, मोबाइल. हमारे ट्रैक के जो रनओवर केसेस होते हैं, हिट केसेस होते हैं, 80 to 90% इज ड्यू टू द मोबाइल. कितना भी लोगों को समझा दीजिए आप, उसके अंदर आप फाइन लगाना शुरू कर दीजिए, बट वो भूल ही जाते हैं कि जब मोबाइल बज गया वो ट्रैक पे है या कहाँ पे. इलेक्ट्रोक्यूशन के केसेस हो या कुछ भी हो, कहीं ना कहीं वो उनकी सावधानी हटी, दुर्घटना घटी. तो कुल मिलाकर के मैं इसमें डीएफसी के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से कहूँगा कि हमने पहले देखा हमारे सारे साइट्स पे कुल मिला के एट वन पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम हमने नोट किया था, उस समय 80,000 से 1 लाख लेबर काम कर रहे थे. एंड टॉप इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कंपनीज वर वर्किंग. बट एक चीज़ मैं टॉप इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कंपनीज को भी कहूँगा, व्हाट हैपन्स व्हेन दे वर्क अब्रॉड, दे डू द वर्क वेरी मेटिकुलसली. जो मेथड स्टेटमेंट होता है एग्जैक्ट उसके हिसाब से काम करते हैं. पीएमसी जो होता है उसको सुपरवाइज भी मेथड स्टेटमेंट से करते हैं, पर इंडिया में आते ही उनका कल्चर उसी टॉप इंफ्रा कंपनी का और वही पीएमसी का बदल जाता है. और साहब यहाँ तो ऐसे ही होता है काम. डंपर अनलोड कर रहा है, हमारा मेथड स्टेटमेंट कहता है कि आपके साथ में एक मार्शल होगा, एक लाल झंडी वाला आदमी होगा. नोबडी बॉदर्स. 24 घंटे आप कितना ध्यान रखेंगे? और मालूम पड़ता है शाम को, रात को आया, थोड़ी बारिश हुई और टॉपल होके एग्जिस्टिंग नियर बाई ट्रैक पे गिर गया. वो कितना समझाएंगे आप उसको? क्या टॉप मैनेजमेंट करेगा इसके?
सर मैं आप ही के क्वेश्चन से आई आस्क रवि. रवि, you have been a CHRO. So importance of commitment and communication, how does it plays when this happens here?
Yeah. So I think the issue is not commitment. I think he's raised some very good points. Kitna kare management, right? Kitna kare top management. It's very easy to blame top management for everything.
Right.
Though top management also gets paid well, right? I think the fundamental issue is, those who have been reading safety literature, about the CEO's choices between productivity and safety, right? Now, if you go to a nuclear plant anywhere, safety is so important that everything is designed around the safety process, and then comes productivity, right? So even the lowest paid person will probably stop the plant. As we, go into more into organizations which are more profit driven, one of the fundamental issues that happens is that CEOs are also under so much pressure to get projects done in time, right? So aap safety bolenge pura saal, but in your monthly reviews, what you will be measuring will be actually production or efficiency and things like that. The message that goes down, all the slogans and all the statements, is that you cannot compromise productivity and you can actually sacrifice some bad practices. It is a fact, even when we go to a, let's say, a Toyota factory in India, you will see a certain different kind of culture. The same Indians are working in a Toyota factory in India. They'll be having a safety culture which will be very different. And then as soon as they leave Toyota and join some other private sector company, all those bad habits will come back again, right? So there are issues of cultural, there are a lot of studies on national culture, and I used to work for a large multinational company which had been in existence for 150 years with factories all across the globe. Maximum accidents always happened in third world countries, India, China, Indonesia, Malaysia. And very rarely would you have accidents happening in Western countries, right? Because the safety orientation is different. But therefore, what I think is really the issue is that is the design of the organization and the money put behind it, etc., by the top management, is it different, right? Because when you go to back to basics, you really have to ask the question, why are people getting hurt, right? Am I spending enough money? Am I spending enough time on training? Am I asking the right questions? Are the right issues coming up? That last safety accident, that recent safety accident that happened, and I'm sure all of you read it in the newspapers, I was fascinated because I was constantly looking for this one theme, and it kept coming, but not too much, right? Who did we punish? We punished some junior people, right? In no accident does a CEO get fired, right? Sometime back I was doing a PhD, and I was trying to figure out how many CEOs have got fired for safety-related accidents, right? They've got fired for not meeting sales targets. They've got fired for governance issues. No CEO gets fired for safety issue. You just have to fire one CEO, and I can tell you the entire culture of the company changes, right? People protest when their bonuses get stopped, right? So the degree of accountability, the degree of helplessness, मैं कितना करूं? Because CEOs also have short stints, right? Some of these are real massive change projects that cannot be solved in a 2-year stint of a CEO, right? So while I have a lot of sympathy for CEOs and their position and this thing, I think fundamental truth is that what are we trying to influence? We are trying to influence the behavior of the lowest paid person on the ground, that he should take the right decision morning to evening when he's at the work site, right? That influence requires a certain kind of design. And when we say back to basics, I think we need to question that. The way we appoint contractors, the way we get them on the site, right, etc., etc. So there's a lot of work that HR people and CEOs can do. But unfortunately, safety tends to remain with the safety manager or whatever, HSE head, and the operations manager. The finance people, the HR people, the supply chain people, none of them are bothered. None of them are involved, right? So it's sort of a question of prioritization, and I don't think safety is given that much priority as is.
Thanks, sir. Thanks for your views, Ravi. So when you said, and I like that word, profit over safety culture, Jan sir, this is a very straight question to you, that when you said the employees, if we have to invite and involve, say you said around 80,000 to 1 lakh employees who are working, and I really believe, yes, it's an employee responsibility. Safety is something like a hygiene issue. I have to do it. So as in a topmost position in your organization, how do you ensure that every employee at the ground, at the frontline staff, I'll say, adheres to the safety?
Yes, it is very, very difficult. And what Mr. Parmeshwar has also covered, that he has hardly seen CEOs or CEOs getting rolled out due to the accidents. But it is not true always. In railways also, action has been taken, even those who were not blameworthy at that stage itself. But moral responsibility gets shifted even to the topmost. Actually, again, I will cite you one example. I happened to be in Japan Railway. In maybe 2013-14, there was one of the worst accidents in Japan Railway, where a driver on a curve was driving at a higher speed than the permissible. And that train took a trajectory and collided against a building. And around 108 passengers and the nearby persons died. In Japan's history, it was one of the worst accidents. And at that time, that accident was explained to us, this and that. We simply kept on asking, what happened to the driver? Who have been taken responsible? What happened? हम हमेशा एक ही बात करते थे, किसकी गर्दन पकड़ी आपने? हमारे यहाँ केवल एक ही होता है, who is responsible? Who is responsible? They have never talked about that one. They discussed what tempted the driver to overspeed. What were the technological measures that tried to stop the particular train not to overspeed? वो इन चीज़ों पर कभी जाते ही नहीं है. हम लोग केवल क्या करते हैं, कोई भी हो, आप किसी भी एक्सीडेंट का नाम ले लीजिए, भाई किसको लिया, मिडिल मैनेजमेंट को टेकअप किया, बॉटम को लिया, उस आदमी को लिया, इसको लिया, सिस्टम का क्या प्रॉब्लम थी हम इस पे देखने की कोशिश नहीं करते.
Absolutely, sir. Because the back to basic is
और
something.
जो
the
उसके
same.
पीछे जो मैं आपको सिंपल बात ये कहना चाहूँगा कि हमारा जो एक कल्चर है, ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल कल्चर हो या हमारे कंट्री का कल्चर हो, इसका बहुत बड़ा रोल है. हम डे वन से कभी भी कॉन्शियस है ही नहीं सेफ्टी और क्वालिटी के लिए. हमारे जो भी कहें हमें खराब लगे, पर हम सब लोग यहाँ पे इतने बड़े बड़े इंजीनियर्स हैं, सब ने अपने अपने टाइम में देखा है, हमें सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट होता है प्रोग्रेस. काम करके दे दो, बस निकल जाओ यहाँ से. आप सिंपल मैं कहूँगा, यहाँ चाहे बड़े बड़े इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कंपनीज होंगी, इतनी कम्पिटिटिव बिडिंग में वर्क लेते हैं और काम शुरू कर देते हैं. सेफ्टी लास्ट प्रायोरिटी. उतना करना है सेफ्टी जो एसएचई के प्रोविजंस में दिया हुआ है कि भाई उनके लिए 4 टॉयलेट होंगे, 2 होगा, एक जाली लगा दो, एक हेलमेट रख दो, ये रख दो, बस हो गया सेफ्टी. सेफ्टी है ही नहीं हमारे उसके अंदर. तो मैं इसीलिए पहले वर्ड ही ये कह रहा था कि इंस्टीट्यूशन ऑफ इंजीनियर ने जो टॉपिक लिया है सेफ्टी एंड क्वालिटी, आपको मैं एक सिंपल स्टेटिस्टिक्स और दूंगा. जैसे सपोज हमारी कार का एक्सीडेंट हो गया, लॉसेस उसमें 1 लाख रुपए का है, इंश्योरेंस हार्डली हमारे को 30, 40, 50,000 देगा. तो एक स्टेटिस्टिक्स थी हमारे पास में कि यदि हमें इंश्योरेंस से कंस्ट्रक्शन प्रोजेक्ट, इंफ्रा प्रोजेक्ट में यदि 1 पॉन्ड मिलता है, तो कंस्ट्रक्शन इंडस्ट्री को अप्रोक्सीमेटली 8 to 36 पॉन्ड का नुकसान होता है. तो बेसिकली हम रिकवर तो कुछ भी नहीं कर पा रहे यदि फाइनेंशियल टर्म्स में भी देखें तो. हम लोग हमारा लॉस जो इनडायरेक्ट आपने बोला, प्रोडक्टिविटी लॉस, मैन पावर लॉस, प्रोजेक्ट 4 महीने पीछे चला जाएगा उसका लॉस, लोगों का फेथ खत्म हो जाएगा, कंपनी के स्टॉक्स गिर जाएंगे, यूनियन कार्बाइड बंद हो जाएगा. क्या नहीं हो सकता एक अनसेफ कंडीशन के कारण से. पूरी इमेज गिर जाएगी पूरे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की. पर फिर भी हम लोग ना सेफ्टी क्यों नहीं कर पाते. मेरे लिए भी एक बहुत बड़ा क्वेश्चन मार्क हो जाता है जब हम साइट पे जाते हैं और हर एक को बोलते हैं कि भाई करिए 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 और आप इसको ध्यान रखिए, इसको ध्यान रखिए, और जाने के बाद में फिर तुरंत वो चेंज हो जाते हैं. एनीवे, आप सबको इसका जवाब मेरे साथ ही ढूंढना है और आप ही को बताना है. तंवर
मैं एक though it's a very interesting session is going on, but I am bounded by the time also, and I see 12 minutes is only, and I want to leave 5 minutes for the audience also, and I believe they also enjoying the session. मैं एक क्वेश्चन, and I'll start with the तनवर साहब आपसे, then I'll come to everybody on the dais here. कि जब हमने ये ऑनेस्टली एक्सेप्ट कर लिया, और मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा कि टुडे वी आर एक्सेप्टिंग दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम, एंड दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम, दैट्स व्हाई वी आर सिटिंग हियर, राइट, बिकॉज एवरीबडी हैज़ गॉट अ फैमिली, एंड द पर्सन हु इज़ वर्किंग देयर फॉर अस, इट बिकम ए स्टैटिस्टिक्स. जो सबसे ज़्यादा बुरा होता है कि हमारे लिए वो स्टैटिस्टिक्स हो जाते हैं. 872 लोग मर गए चासी नाला में, बट वो 872 फैमिलीज थी. इंडिया का एक डेटा है कि एक डेथ या एक आदमी से 36 आदमी जुड़ा होता है. ये एक रफ आइडिया है. तो एक डेथ से 36 लोगों को पेन होता है. पेन मतलब डायरेक्ट पेन होता है. सो हाउ मेनी पीपल आर गेटिंग इफेक्टेड, एंड दैट्स व्हाई वी आर हियर. And I believe everybody in the room is a brand ambassador for the health and safety going back to their organization. But one last question which I will pick up right now. How to lead by example? अगर हमें ये सेफ्टी कल्चर बनाना है, आई नो इट्स अ वेरी डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन, आई डोंट ऐसा भी हो सकता है मेरे पास आंसर ना भी हो, बट आई वुड लाइक टू नो फ्रॉम द यू ऑल हाउ टू लीड बाय एग्जाम्पल टू क्रिएट दिस सेफ्टी कल्चर इन एनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन.
Very correct, sir. After that, these accident, which I have told to the major accident in hydro project and mining also. Now, every hydropower plant, there are NTPC, NHPC, THDC, every department, they have opened their safety department. Every department having their own safety department also, on their safety training institute of different type of training is also going on all the project. What type of equipment we are using, whether flame proof, non-flame proof or what, and all testing equipment and everything, all are available on the projects only. All staff, worker, they have been trained at site only, being them skilled worker, trained for safety, for health management and everything. Every project having three hospital also on the hydropower plant, because plant is a very big plant, hydropower project area. It is every hydropower plant more than 500 megawatt is spread over about 40 kilometers. Water is from somewhere, tunnel is from somewhere, lake is somewhere, this. So all safety measures has been taken on the project. And even I am telling you why as Mr. Jain Sahab say that top management is not responsible everywhere. Somewhere, sir, top management is also responsible, because, as you say, top management, they are behind the progress only. Because in Chasnala mine, there was a crack on the wall, and the top management was knowing that the crack is there, but okay, we'll see. One day it has become. Like that, gate shaft in Loktak project, because gate shaft was the first tunnel to be excavated from there. Every day chief engineer is moving there. All the superintendent engineers are moving there. They should know that we have not erected the wall around the well, and the water came and all machineries go down. So this is the part of the management only, not the worker.
तनु साहब, मेरा यही पूछना है कि हम ये कल्चर, ठीक है, एक तो ये हो गया इग्नोरेंस हो गया, एक सुपरविजन हो गया, बट इससे भी कहीं कुछ अलग है जो शायद अभी हम लोग टैप नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. एनीवे, जैन साहब, मैं आपके पास आऊँगा. हाउ डू
हम लोग जो डीएफसी में मेनली वी आर कंसंट्रेटिंग इज अगेन ट्रेनिंग एंड ट्रेनिंग. एवरी फ्राइडे वी हैव केप्ट ए स्लॉट फॉर 15 to 30 मिनट. केवल हम लोग उसमें उस वीक में जो अनसेफ प्रैक्टिस हमें मिली है उसको लाइव एग्जांपल से उनको समझाने की कोशिश करते हैं कि भाई यहाँ पे डिस्चार्ज रॉड हटाने में गलती कर दी जिसके कारण से इलेक्ट्रिक्यूशन हो सकता था. एक मतलब सिंपल आपको बता दो, स्काडा ऑपरेट करने में एक दिन बोर्ड पे 3 जगह पावर ब्लॉक चल रहे थे. मतलब आश्चर्य करेंगे कि उसको एक जगह का पावर ब्लॉक कैंसिल करना था, उसने किसी और जगह का पावर ब्लॉक कैंसिल कर दिया. एनीवेयर एनी ब्लंडर कैन हैपन. तो इस चीज को हम लोग डीएफसी में सबसे ज्यादा, जैसे बॉडी को एवरीडे वी नीड सम एक्सरसाइज. मॉर्निंग में उठते ही सबको अपने, चाहे बॉडी कितनी फिट हो, वी नीड एक्सरसाइज. सिमिलरली इन डीएफसी आल्सो वी हैव मेड इट ए प्रैक्टिस कि वी शुड हैव ए रेगुलर ट्रेनिंग एंड मॉक ड्रिल फॉर द सेफ्टी. और दूसरा, हम लोगों ने यहाँ पे जैसे रेलवे में भी जो हैं ऑफिसर्स, वो जानते होंगे कि जो हमारे अवर्टेड एक्सीडेंट्स हैं या एक्सीडेंट्स हैं, उसके लिए हम येलो एंड रेड बुलेटिन इशू करते हैं. उसमें सारे उस साल के, उस महीने के सारी समरी होती है, क्या इंसिडेंट्स हुआ, क्या लेसन लर्न है. तो हम लोगों ने ये देखा है कि आसपास के उसी सिस्टम की गलतियों से हम लोग ज़्यादा जल्दी सीखते हैं. वनिस्पत कोई एक आप उसको जिसे कहते हैं इमेजनरी एग्जाम्पल दें, उससे नहीं समझेंगे वो. तो हमने रेलवे का एक पुराना सिस्टम है, इसको हमने रिज्यूमिनेट किया है कि जो वीकली इंसिडेंसेस हुए हैं उनको एक मंथली येलो पेपर की तरह पब्लिश करते हैं, और जो एक्सीडेंट होते हैं उनको रेड पेपर की तरह पब्लिश करते हैं, और वो हर आदमी तक पहुंचाया जाता है, उसको ई फॉर्मेट में या पेपर फॉर्मेट में. तो कंटिन्यूस टीचिंग और कंटिन्यूस एनफोर्समेंट. और मैं तो इसी के लिए इस फॉरम के थ्रू या अदरवाइज हमें बच्चों के एजुकेशन कैरिकुलम में इसको डालना चाहिए कि सेफ्टी उनकी ज़िंदगी में कितना ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है, जो हमारे यहाँ है नहीं. एक्चुअली हमें उस लेवल पे जाना पड़ेगा. यदि हर आदमी सेफ्टी कॉन्शियस है तो कभी कोई एक्सीडेंट हो ही नहीं सकता.
Can I ask you a very, very direct question, and I hope you will not mind it? When you go on site and when you find any unsafe thing, and you come back for a review meeting with your top leaders there, do you ask that why I saw that open circuit or socket there before even they start for the progressment discussion?
मैं एक्चुअली अगेन शुरू में हम लोगों की आदत एज यूजुअल, जो यहाँ बड़े सीनियर्स भी बैठे हुए हैं, कि किसकी गर्दन पकड़ी जाए, पर जापान के इंसिडेंट्स के बाद मैं भी थोड़ा अपने आप को बदल दिया है. एक्चुअली प्रॉब्लम वही है कि हमारे सिस्टम में वो हुई क्यों गलती. अब हम लोग इसी पर ज़्यादा सोचते हैं कि आखिर ऐसा रीज़न क्या हुआ जो उसने ये मिस्टेक की, या टेक्नोलॉजी ने उसे ये मिस्टेक करने क्यों दी. हम लोग एक्चुअली वो डिस्कस नहीं करना चाहिए. जैसे कोई सिग्नल फेलियर पे एक्सीडेंट हुआ वर्स्ट, हमें ये देखना चाहिए कि टेक्निकली वो कैसे रोका जा सकता था. तो हम अब आजकल इसी बात पे बहुत ज़्यादा ध्यान देते हैं किसी भी साइट पे, कि यदि कोई इंसिडेंस हुआ है तो हम ये देखें कि टेक्नोलॉजिकली, जैसे पहला वर्ड इंजीनियरिंग, कि कैसे रोका जाए, और नंबर 2 कैसे उसको एजुकेट किया जाए कि वो करे नहीं है. तो मैं आपसे फिर रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा, EEE, इंजीनियरिंग, एजुकेशन एंड एनफोर्समेंट, जो आपने कहा सेफ्टी डिपार्टमेंट, दैट इज एनफोर्समेंट. तो ये EEE प्रिंसिपल जो हमने, पता नहीं आप में से जिन्होंने ट्रांसपोर्टेशन इंजीनियरिंग पढ़ी हो, तो हम लोग रुड़की में भी खन्ना जुस्टो की किताब थी, उसमें सबसे बड़ा ऊपर EEE प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ द सेफ्टी, स्पेशली रोड कॉन्टेक्स्ट में लिखा हुआ था उन्होंने. तो हम जिंदगी भर उसी को याद रखते हैं.
So nice of you and thanks for enlightening me, because हम लोग अभी भी
5 और 2 ऐड कर दीजिए साहब उसमें. अच्छा,
Exactly.
चलिए, थैंक यू.
फाइव ईज.
So
नाउ
nice of you.
अर्लियर डेज, जब साहब ने बताया
So
जब
nice
ये एक्सीडेंट हुआ होगा इन 70s, that time maybe 3, but now when we are talking about the safety culture, now we are on 5E.
Fantastic, and this goes with the hierarchy of controls also.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks.
And one more thing, sir,
Yeah.
I want to add. There's अभी जैसा परमेश्वर साहब ने बताया था कि no CEOs has been fired, otherwise culture to be changed in the company. But if we go in the law with respect to the Factories Act, all the responsibilities come under the purview of occupier. That means head of that project. And when we see about the case studies of the past inquiries, which has been done by the director of factories or inspector of factories, always they prosecute to the occupier. In some case, they are a factory manager.
Sir, I will not talk about public sector, but we can have a separate discussion privately on how accidents and factory inspectors are managed. Okay? आपको कोई नहीं मिलेगा जो जेल गया होगा. प्लांट मैनेजर गया होगा, CEO नहीं गया होगा.
But in that case, they have the provision of penalty.
The law is very, in India there is no problem with regulation, there are enough laws. How they get implemented, आपको data नहीं मिलेगा. आप forget about penalty and prosecution and all that. Please try to tell me how many people have died in Gurgaon district, India in the last 2 years, latest information. आप net में जो करना कर लीजिए, आपको ये data नहीं मिलेगा. Right? So there is a big difference between what the law says and how it's getting implemented and how practically it is getting managed. It's a completely different matter. On the issue of, because we are running out of time.
Right? That's what last thing
So
which I wanted to.
but I just want to talk about this leadership by example.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's the same question I wanted to
So-
ask you from.
So, let me throw a challenge to Institution of Engineers, right? I was delighted when I saw a CEO, but a CEO from only the public sector will come and sit here. I can assure you that आपको 2 घंटे, right, to get private sector CEOs to sit here and talk about safety, you will not be able to do it, right? They'll all go and spend time with Ram Charan and all those kind of big consultants, but on safety, nobody will come, right? And that's the unfortunate truth. So when we talk about leadership by example, if Institution of Engineers in the next 1 year can get 25 CEOs of infrastructure companies to sit here, then you know some change is happening. So when we talk about back to basics, that's the first basic step you need to try and create.
That's fantastic. Yeah, please do that if you want to make a comment. But meanwhile, you are getting the mic. Yeah.
Kumar. I just retired as Special DG CPWD, Engineering Chief from Delhi PWD. I just want to know from the audience, how many of you have missed a train due to getting late and reaching late at the station? Can you please raise the hand? How many? Okay, 5, 6. How many of you have missed a flight for being late? Very few. The question is, there is a cost of failure. If the cost of failure is not there, there will not be implementation. So similar goes with the safety. If the cost of failure is not there, the safety will not be there. And he said, it is also experienced that all the persons dying in a factory or even in, I saw in the road construction, or they are the contract workers. Because the cost of their death in our country, unfortunately, is very less. Either they are not reported, they are managed by paying some compensation to the parties, or contractor manages it, and nothing happens neither to the management nor to the contractor. So if it goes like this, the safety will be talk of only in this hall and not at the site. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anand sir. Thank you. I know I'm overshooting the time, but this is one favorite question which I'll not miss. I'll not try to miss also. When we have got a Ravi here, and Ravi has been instrumental in creating a lot of culture-driven and organizations and all those. So Ravi, again, I'm asking the same question back to you because you are working with a lot of organization on developing the safety culture and any culture, because safety is not a culture, it's a quality, it's a human rights, any culture you have. How to build a culture by leading an example from the C-suite executives?
Right. So, look, we have had a lot of concepts, right? Cost of failure, triple E, right? Ultimately, culture, any company you walk into, the culture is reflective of what the top people are. If the top people find governance important, you will see a lot of focus on governance because that's what they are important. In some organizations where the CEO believes that it is about people, you will see a very strong people-oriented culture, right? So everything reflects and revolves around what the top management wants. So things like cost of failure, leadership by example are all about a reflection of what the top person wants, right? And as long as for him this is a matter of interest and this is a matter of priority, how do you measure yourself, right? So one of the questions to always ask a CEO is, how do you measure yourself? So the CEO will typically say measurement by volume or measurement by revenue or measurement by profitability. When sustainability or safety related or quality related metrics become part of how you evaluate a CEO, right? That's when change will happen, right?
So nice of Ravi, and I know a lot of people are sending a message to and getting like a lot of people want to, just finishing this session. I know if we would get an opportunity, we can continue for 60 more minutes on this discussion. It's a passionate discussion, and next time I would like to have more time from the II on this. But can I have the couple of the mics, please? Can you just have? So yes, you and then this gentleman on the front. So excuse me, sir. I got a request from him first. Yeah, thank you, sir. Please.
I agree with Mr. Jain, what he said about triple E. And his suggestion for making this safety as a topic in the school education. I will say that if you make this topic at the first year level of engineering and diploma, it will be more effective because we have made the environment paper compulsory. Similarly, we can make environment and safety compulsory. So if the consciousness is there in the part of the diploma holders who are the supervisors and the engineers, all the engineers. See, I have been teaching this maintenance management at, in IIT Delhi. I was associated there. And there we teach all these aspects in the subject of maintenance management. But I think my suggestion is that this should be compulsory for all the engineering students at the first year level and diploma level, all the branches. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Good initiative, suggestion. Thank you.
Good afternoon all, sir. I'm Sunil Singhal, looking after safety, fire services and environment at Banpur Steel Plant. Sir, like Mr. Ravi has said that we talk about safety only. It's a talk only, rather we don't implement it majorly. means, sir, what do you think that we should look for some safety culture transformation or should have more emphasis on enforcement only? Like in this culture we are working, the enforcement will be more fruitful or the cultural transformation will be more fruitful, sir?
Yeah, this is a great point. What comes first? See, enforcement is part of your whole overall cultural. When you say cultural, you will do lots of things. You'll also have a reward recognition scheme, all those kind of things. But I think we are lax on enforcement, right? The fact that I can get away from a factory's inspector in spite of having a death in my plant indicates very poor enforcement, right? So, and as a result, we also don't enforce it within our organizations very strictly, right? We're not giving that message very clearly. I think all these things have to move together. In fact, let me tell you something personal. Sometime back, I wrote to the Prime Minister in that Man Ki Baat website that just like we took a sanitation related big national initiative a few years back, and it made great progress, right? We should have an overall countrywide approach to safety, right? And I was hoping that through that maybe I didn't get a response back. And the government is probably trying different things. But I think we need an extraordinary focus on safety as a cultural transformation. How can we be a first world country on engineering and manufacturing and everything without a consequent focus on safety and quality? I just can't imagine us being a leading manufacturer or construction company and we're going to do lots of infrastructure projects without being first world in safety and quality. It doesn't sound correct to me. And therefore, it has to be college level, school level. It's like sanitation. We have to take but that's...
Thanks. A lot of questions are coming up. I believe, yes. Can you get the mic to his? Okay. Oh, you want to ask first? So I'll get back to you. He has got a mic.
Yeah, myself, Amit, Dr. Amit. So basically just question to RK sir. So you just taken one of the example which is related to DFCC. The incident was related to SCADA system. There is some kinds of malfunctioning or people did some kinds of mistake for the SCADA operation. So did we take in any kinds of action in this case? Just, I'm not saying, you just elaborate in the more detail. And just question to you, why this gap was come and there is some kinds of provision to operate the SCADA system different switches? Do we have some kinds of interlock system or Lotto system for that one just to avoid malfunctioning of that system? So just two questions, just I'm looking for some kinds of answer from your side.
Actually, from that particular incident, we learned that it is a technological failure. So we added 2 more windows before that. That before closure of a block, it will again ask which block you want to close. Then he will have to now fill up this. So now you can say inadvertently he can't fill up the wrong thing now. Now he knows that 3 blocks are going and which block he wants to close. Now he has to fill up manually first. Then second window, are you sure that you want to close? Then it will be done. So now at that time, we only have a direct one mouse click. He can close that particular power block. Now he has to go through 2 more windows. So now this particular aspect has been reduced technologically. So again, we are making them to learn that in the time of the crisis, when 3 or 4 or 5 blocks are going, number of trains are running, you don't have to be in panic. You have to work in this way. But first is always technology. I think I have covered your question.
So last.
This is Dr. Saraswat.
Which question?
We'll discuss in the lunch time, over the lunch time.
We'll discuss, yes.
I'm Dr. Saraswat. I have worked in Steel Authority and Mittal group of companies in Europe, as well as in Denley Chorus Tata Group. And I have got extensive experience of the projects and maintenance. I can tell you, I can contradict that simple sweeping statement making that remove the CEO and your safety will be set is a fundamentally wrong statement. I can tell you, since I have seen both the sides of the industry, private as well as public. If you remove a CEO or the chairman of a PSU company, another fellow will come, the culture will remain the same. These policies will remain the same. The exploitation of the contractors will remain the same. It doesn't make any change. I have seen people dying maybe 30 to 40, of course, earlier days. Now it is reduced drastically, monthly. And we had the provision that 1 rupee will be deducted if somebody dies. Employee I am talking, not contract workers. And ranging from 10 to 40 rupees used to get deducted from the salary. That provided the convincing, the evidence that so many people have died because of accidents. So what is required is the change of the culture. And this just cannot be by words, by remaining in the offices, talking big, and not doing the right things at the sites, at the actual places, does not yield anything. And that is what exactly we have got the culture. So fundamentally, it needs to be a change, management of change in the thinking, attitude, philosophy, and finally the actions.
Exactly.
Today, I can cite you an example. If there is a unsafe site, right from your technician to the project manager, the countries belonging to Europe, particularly Western Europe, Japan, they will not allow you to start the job even inch. How is that it is happening in India? It's all, and that is self-speaking. More than that, I think everybody understands because everybody is very intelligent, all are engineers. But what is most important, it has to be a concept of life, not only the personal, but also in industry, in office, at every moment, every place, everywhere. And this has to go in our culture, in our blood. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. And an exciting session. And thanks everybody on the dais. And I really enjoyed. And I know it can continue for till evening today. But next time, this session will start exactly where we are ending with some more facts and knowledges and information. But yes, whatever we say on the other part of the world, Western words, I'm in charge for the couple of the countries across, so I know what is the facts, but sometimes I say India is far, far better, sir. If you will see their newses, they are having much more problems on their basics because everything is technology. So I'm not going in that detail, but it's good, fantastic discussion, and thanks and sorry not going on a PPT version, having this candid discussion in front of you all so that you can learn more on this. So over to you, sir. Do you want to come and take the charge for the next session? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Saurabh. Now I request Chairman, Safety and Quality Firm. Sir, जल्दी आइए, lunch के लिए लोग इंतजार कर रहे हैं. हम आपके lunch के बीच में आ गए. To kindly give small memento to our chairperson, Mr. R.K. Jain. Jain sir. Memento to Tawar Saab. Tawar Saab. To Mr. R.R. Tawar. To Mr. Ravi. बैठिए सर, लंच करके अरे जी सर. भूल गए सर. अच्छा फोटो नहीं. अरे तो मिस्टर रवि. to Mr. Saurabh.